Hi guys, it's Mrs. Santiago here. I just wanted to take a minute and go through the culture in pictures notes with you so that if you are at home, you can go ahead and write in the notes. Some of the information covered here is on the homework, but it is all covered between the textbook and the videos. So the first thing, this is the cultural experience for Mexico. So the first picture is this picture, and it's looking out across so you can see how big the Distrito Federal or Mexico City really is. The second thing, and there really wasn't a spot for this because I'm trying to just kind of give you visuals, is the Artesania. So Artesania, I don't know how to really explain it. It's the handcrafts, things that are created in Mexico and made by hand. So the first one, of course, is a Day of the Dead skull that's actually beaded on top of ceramic. To the right, we have a ceramic bowl. The pottery from Mexico is amazing. And then to the right of that, you can see an example of some of the weaving. Okay, the first section you can see in the gold title is called La Mezcla del Indígena y Español. So one of the things that happened when the Spanish arrived to help the indigenous people kind of absorb and take on the cultural aspects of specifically the religion of the Spaniards, because remember, Columbus got his money from Queen Isabel because he was willing to spread her religion. But the natives were not taking to the new religion, so what they tried to do was make a mix between the native customs and the Spanish culture. So one of the big examples of that is Day of the Dead. And we see that because think about it. They do an altar. They have a church ceremony. So there we see the Spanish Catholic traditions. But then we see the skulls and all of the death and the skeletons that all comes from the native or indigenous people. To the right, I thought this was an interesting picture. So the story of the Virgin of Guadalupe is that Don Diego was the man that prayed to the Virgin of Guadalupe, and her image appeared on his cloak that was laying in a bed of flowers, the type of flowers that were used for Day of the Dead. So here you've got right next to the church, you can see there's a big statue of the Virgin of Guadalupe, which is everywhere in Mexico. But then these are actually people dressed as Aztec warriors that are dancing around the Virgin of Guadalupe. So again, we see the mix. Okay, the blue title, Los Artes, la Música y el Baile. So the arts, music, and dance. So the first one, iconic to Mexico, are Los Mariachis. So mariachis are bands that usually have guitars and trumpets. And you've seen them in movies where they come into the restaurant and they start playing music. Very traditional for Mexico. Look up mariachi music. And then another iconic thing is the folk dancing. So I wanted to show this picture because I really think back to our pictures of flamenco dancing where it's the man and the woman. And here you can kind of see that Spanish influence. I don't want to tell you a specific dance because like one of the most iconic is El Jarabe Tapatillo, but each region of Mexico has their own folk dance that they practice. So again, though, look at the dress. The dress reminds me of the flamenco dress. Here it's big in just a circle, maybe not with a long train. And again, these, the sombrero, a little bit different from the flamenco dance, but similarities are found. Okay, so that's the end of page 1. Page 2 of the notes, I start with the red, which is La Historia de Mexico. So in this section, I just wanted to point out, so that first picture you can see, we've got the Aztecs and the Mayans. The Aztecs were located in central Mexico, and the Mayans were more on the Yucatan Peninsula. Both of these native or indigenous people left their mark through architectural things such as statues and the pyramids. To the right, if you did your reading yesterday, you read about Diego Rivera, famous artist from Mexico who was married to Frida Kahlo. They also had the Casa Azul, which is the blue house. It was part of functionalism. The reason I'm mentioning that is the picture that I showed to depict the arrival of Spain is actually a mural by Diego Rivera so that we could see another work of art. And you can kind of see, like, to the right, there's some money exchange happening, and you can see that there's a religious figure there. But then to the left, you can see more of how it was a conquistador. They enslaved these people. So arrival of Spanish, good, bad. I mean, they were conquerors. It was not good for the native people. On the other hand, it made Mexico what they are today. So at least, we have to think of how they came through it. Below that, I know it looks like they're celebrating, I don't know, maybe a sports victory, or perhaps it is Cinco de Mayo. But in fact, we need to remember that El Día de la Independencia de México is El 16 de Septiembre. So this is a Mexican Independence Day celebration. To the left, we have famous people in Mexico in history. So I just wanted to pop this picture in. So Hernan Cortez, explorer, Benito Juarez, great leader, Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, and Pancho Villa are both really part of the Tex-Mex history. Frida Kahlo, great artist. Porfirio Diaz was a leader of Mexico. And Miguel Hidalgo, he really fought for them to have their freedom. So the cry of Hidalgo is very famous to get their freedom from Spain. I saved for the end my favorite section, Las Comidas de Mexico. So some iconic foods from Mexico. So the first one is mole. So mole is really a sauce. It's made from probably 40 different ingredients, but the two famous ingredients would be the chocolate and chilies. So you don't really eat mole alone. It's always like over a chicken dish with rice. The second one is one of my favorites if you ever get a chance to try it. This is Pozzole. Pozzole is a Mexican, kind of like a mix between a soup and a stew. And then on top, they usually have sliced radish and onion and cabbage. Well, you can add that separately, I guess. So most of you think about tacos when we talk about Mexico, but tacos in Mexico don't look like what you think. So here are some street tacos or tacos from Mexico, and they're super simple, right? That could be anything from like beef tongue to pork, a little bit of chicken, but then if you're over in Baja California, it is probably seafood. They're usually simply dressed with onion and some parsley, Mexican parsley, and a squeeze of lime. No muddy taco there. If we go below those tacos, we have the tamales of Mexico. So when we did chapter 2, Puerto Rico, we talked about pasteles, but these are tamales wrapped in a corn husk. So that is dough, and then it's probably inside of it is meat and perhaps even some olives and maybe even a little potato. Those are tamales. When we think of churros, we think about Spain or Mexico. Their really origin is Mexico. They are, in fact, long, skinny donuts that are fried. They don't look anything like the jelly-filled things that you get in the cafeteria. So those are churros. To the right, we have a chile relleno. So that is a chili pepper stuffed with cheese and then fried. Sometimes you see it as chile nogales with a white sauce on it that's eaten in Mexico at Christmas time. And the last one is street corn. You see this sometimes in movies even. So street corn, we would put butter on our corn on the cob. They put almost like a cheesy mayonnaise, and then they roll it in like a cheese that is from Mexico that's a little bit bitey, and then they add a little spice to the top of it. So that's really the notes for today on the culture of Mexico. This is just Mexico culture and pictures. Now you can go on and do your homework. It's 20 points based on the textbook and discussions and the videos that you've watched. If you have any questions, let me know. You have 20 attempts on your homework. All right, guys, thanks.